I'll just run through a few slides and then we will have a little chat about what we have done before. So let's talk about the general ledger. We have, the last few days, we had spoken about what was SAP all about, what was an ERP. We spoke about the organization structure of SAP in terms of SAP FICO consultants' job role. Go into one of the modules, which is the general ledger accounting module. So you all can see my screen. Few days or 2 days at least, the agenda will be the creation of a general ledger master with and without reference. With reference or without reference means you create it fresh. With reference means you will use an existing GL to copy and modify as per your requirements. That is copying with reference or copying with the template. We will look at changing, displaying, blocking, unblocking of a general ledger master. We'll look at document entry posting, a normal posting and a posting with reference. We will see how to display and change documents, display GL balances, display GL account line items, what is a part document, what is a whole document, a creation of a sample document and posting with a sample document. These are a few of the things we will be covering. So, how do we create GL master records? We can create chart of account at GL in the chart of account at a chart of account level, at company code level, or centrally. Centrally means you can create it at chart of account level or at company code level. So what exactly does chart of account level mean? At the chart of account level is a general of the total GL. It is general that anyone using the chart of account, any company code using or any business entity using the chart of account can draw on those particular fields. It will be common to every company using the chart of account. So at the chart of account level, you will have the account number, the account group, the company code, whether it's a profit and loss account or a balance sheet item, what is the description, the short text and the long text. Now, anyone using the chart of account will have this already done. At the company code level, that same GL account, the currency can change. So the option is at company code level to add what would be the currency this GL account will be maintained in. Whether the balances will be kept in the currency that the document has been entered in, or the balance will be shown only in local currency. Balance in local currency means company code currency. Is there any tolerance group? Or what would be a tolerance group? A tolerance group would be the maximum amount of that can be posted to this particular GL account. Line item display, whether this GL will be maintained in totals. So every time you look at this GL general ledger account, it will only show you the total, or whether it would be a line item display. Can anyone give me an example of, in a general ledger, which kind of account would you have line items in? And which account you would not bother with line items? Line item means every single transaction will be displayed when you open and view that particular GL account.
Expense accounts to see all the payment history?
Expense accounts, okay, that could be line item managed.
API accounts.
API, again, what would that full form, please?
Like customer accounts and the vendor accounts.
Would that be line item or would that be totals only?
Line items.
Why would you need a customer? From your knowledge of accounts, not from your knowledge of SAP, why would you need in the general ledger line item wise account management in a reconciliation account?
So that would be like a subledger. That's subledger basically.
Yes.
So
So if the
subledger
subledger
accounts.
has all the line items of the customer, why would you need it also in the general ledger?
No, that's basically the subledger. It's not a general
Yes.
ledger. Right?
Yeah. The thing is, when we are looking at SAP, you must always look at what you have been doing in your job or what you have done in your study. When you have all details already there in the subledger, it would be redundant to have them replicated in the general ledger. So normally a reconciliation account you won't keep as an open item management because you already have details in the subledger.
Right.
Okay. Now you have a sort key. A sort key basically helps you to sort data as per how it is to be kept. SAP has set up many standard sort keys. Normally, no one will create a new sort key. And then you have a field status group. A field status group basically does the job in terms of the general ledger master data. It will tell you what fields have to be filled in before you can save. Or what fields are optional. You either fill in or you don't fill in, the system won't say anything. Or it will say this field can only be displayed. That is what a field status group does. A field status group also tells you what kind of layout the screen will throw up when you enter the general ledger master. Will the screen for a balance sheet GL be the same as the screen for a profit and loss GL? Example. It can be the same, you can have it different. So you can create the GL account on the chart account level. It will be just the basic information. Or at company code level, you can create it with more depth and more details. Or you can do it both at a time. So when you go in centrally to create a general ledger master, it will give you the chart account section as well as the company code section. And you can fill it in together. Normally, when we are doing implementations, we will create the base chart of account at the chart of account level. And every time we go into a specific company and we start creating company codes, we will start extending those GLs to the company code level. So accounts which you all need to create will be a surplus in PL under reserves and surplus group, equity share capital under share capital group, cash account under current assets, loans, advances group. So how do you create a GL? First step in the general ledger is checking the account group to see that the account numbers are allocated. See the account numbers that are allocated or you want to allocate.
Sir, you can go and show on the page now.
Yes, I'll be going into I'll just run these slides and then I'll repeat them again in the system. So just that you'll know that this is the flow of how we will be doing it. So your first step is you have to create an account group. After the account groups are created, you have to ensure that the number ranges are allocated to the account group. And then once you have done that, you can come in over here and do it. Now the company code over here they're using is PSL. So let's have a look at this. And then this is just the creation part of how do you create a general ledger. Okay, so let's have a look at the system now. Now, when you log in, you will come to this screen. This is the SAP Easy Access screen. Now, This is the SAP Easy Access screen, where it is basically the transactional menu where you work all your transactions from. What you all will be interested in is the accounting. And under accounting, you have quite a few things. For currently, we will be looking at only the financial accounting part, which is the general ledger as of now. If you see the magnifying glasses here, those are the search commands. No one actually ever uses this. I have never had to use it in my 20-year career. And this button here, can you see create session? When you click on it, it will open to another session. Now you have two sessions of SAP open. In this one, we type SPRO, we've seen this before, and we go to the IMG reference menu or the customizing menu. So if I hit enter, that is where I'll go.
Your quick access transactional tree is showing your screen where you typed SPRO. It is not on the sharing. Yeah.
And now can you all see the screen? This is the screen where we do all our customizing. Now, before this, we had seen most of our work will be done in the enterprise structure. Under SAP NetWeaver, SAP put a lot of functions under SAP NetWeaver which are general to all modules. So over here, we have certain general settings, you could say. And the only thing which we are interested in is the general setting, where a country code, countries are set, currencies are set, exchange rates are set, calendars are maintained like factory calendars, variant help, that kind, which we do nothing over here, but we just familiarize ourselves with this part of the menu. At the enterprise structure, we saw that in SAP, what we have to do, when we create or define something, we also have to assign it. So we have seen creation of company codes, a company credit control area, business area, functional areas, maintain consolidation business area, not something we're interested in. Maintaining finance management areas, again, not something we're interested in. Defining segments and defining profit centers. This will be the main definitions which a FICO consultant will have to do in the FI area. So we have gone through defining company code, copying and checking company codes. We have not done segments and we have not done profit center. Both tend to come into controlling. Next, we had the financial accounting. We saw assigning of company to company code to credit control area. Anything that we have defined, we'll come here to assign. Now we're going into financial accounting new, financial accounting global settings. This is where you do all your ledgers and define your ledgers, because you can have multiple ledgers, your fiscal year, posting periods, all that is done over here. Over here, you can enter the global parameters of your company. We will go into this a little bit later once you'll have had time to set few things up. And we are General Ledger New. Now, if you look at this menu, General Ledger New, in the earlier versions of before ECC 6, before new GL came in, this particular node was not there. It is only when you activate new General Ledger do you get this menu. So I am now in the menu path, financial accounting. General Ledger New, Master Data, GL Accounts, Preparations. Over here, we have the option to revise or edit a chart of account list, assign company code to chart of account, define account groups, define retained earning accounts. These are the few things which we have to do before we can start using the General Ledger. So let's go into edit chart of account list first. We saw in the screen before, we have an option of using a standard SAP delivered chart of account, or we can just create our chart of account new from fresh. Now, you see CAAUS, this chart of account Australia is the chart of account delivered by SAP. SAP has delivered, depending on the country's requirement, country-specific chart of accounts, which if I'm doing an implementation in Australia, I can borrow this chart of account and copy it and then modify it to what my client requires. Normally, these are the standard. INT is normally the standard chart of account, which is an international chart of account, which anyone can use if they want. This INT, this chart of account is the international chart of account. If I have this button, means I have displays. Now, when you're creating a chart of account, these are the fields you'll have to give a code for your chart account. It can be INT. If you have a company, many follow a policy of if my group company is set up as say 2000, I'll set my chart account also at 2000. If all company codes are using the same chart account, I will keep it at 2000 itself. So there is a symmetry to what I've done. Then is the chart account description, the maintenance language, the length of the GL. This is the important part. The length of the GL account, whether it will be 10 digits, 8 digits, 6 digits, 4 digits, you specify it here. For the purpose of yours, you all can try and change it to say something. We won't be creating so many GLs, so you can keep it at 4. It will help you to move faster. Manual creation of cost elements. Now, everything in FI has to flow into controlling module. How does it flow? It flows through via a cost element. A cost element is basically a pipeline that carries the transactions from FI into CO. So look at the FI as a tank of water and CO as another tank of water. So when I enter something in FI, it fills that tank, but now I have to transfer that part of the water to CO. So there's a pipeline that will carry it through. And that pipeline will open into either a cost center, a profit center, a segment, or an internal order, or a WBS element, a work breakdown schedule. So think of cost elements as pipelines that attach the FI transactions to the CO transactions. All right. Now you have a option of either creating cost elements manually or creating cost elements automatically. Every expense GL will need to flow into CO. So when we create a general ledger account, we must also have a cost element, corresponding cost element created so that information can flow or the data can flow into CO. So we can do it manually. So every time create a GL account, then come to CO, create a cost element. That is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is when you create a GL account, the system will automatically create a cost element, taking the numbering, everything from what you have done. So 2. For the purpose of our exercise, at first, we will just use manual creation of cost elements so we get the hang of it. Is there going to be a group chart of account? If you have one chart of account which is companies will use for the operational purpose and for the purpose of consolidation, there will be a group chart account that should be reflected over here. If it is not, your consolidation won't work. So what would be the reason for using a group chart account? It would be at a company's code level, at the business level, you need to specify all your accounts as per the legal requirements, as per the audit requirements, as per the tax requirements. All these areas have to be taken into account when you are working at the company code level. At the group chart account level, you might not like, for example, at the company code level, you'll want your repairs of all the repairs expenses to be broken up under what the nature of it. So you'll have repairs to buildings, repairs to furniture, repairs to office equipment, repairs to assets. On the other hand, at the group chart account level, you don't need so much details. Over there in the group chart account, you can just have repairs and assign all the repair accounts at the company code level to just one single account in the group chart account. That is one way of using the group chart account. And so every GL you create in your company code has to be assigned to a GL in the group chart account. Over here, you can either block. So if you create a GL and you don't want anyone to use it, or if you're creating a chart account and you don't want anyone to use it, you can block it. So no one uses it until you're finished with it. So you will need to create a charter account. So your option would be to either pick up INT, which is the international, or if you have, there's a US charter account also. You will find a lot of charter accounts created here because the system is being used by many people. So they have all created charter accounts. So just go with the standard, the CANA, these kind of ones are. So this charter account is created for North America. So if you want to create, you can go here and display this. And then you have an option of copy as. So when you copy as, you can change all these descriptions. That means basically you will just change the chart account name and the description of the chart account. Everything else will keep the same. The GL account length you will need to put in. So at 4, 6, 8, 10, 7, that's up to you. You have to create your GL accounts with as per what you put in here. Okay, going up, we have the chart account. Anyone wants the India chart account? Now, either you can first double click this and go into it, see what it is, and then copy it, or you can just copy directly from here. So if I say copy, I come here, I can say charter account, say Dean, description will be charter account of Dean Group, maintenance language English, GL length, I can change it to 8, manual creation, and a group charter account, we can keep it as console, CONS.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP Corporate Training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features? Bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
How to create new ones, sir?
So if you want, you can come to new entry here. You can put chart account say 1050, description of chart account. The normal abbreviation of chart account is COA. So you can use COA of Dean. I believe you set up someone has set up Dean as a company, right?
Yes.
Okay. So chartered account of Dean or chartered account of ABC Limited. So maintenance language, we will take at English. GL length, I'm choosing 8. Manual creation of cost elements, I'm going with the manual creation of cost element, and I save it. I will get a transport request. I will note down the transport request and move on. Very simple. Okay, just remember.
I wanted to ask 2 things.
Yes.
So a chart of accounts wherein you have put 1050 should be my company code so that it remains the same.
Yes.
And the transport request which is created, it will be created every time a new transport request, or it is the first one when we created company and company code?
Okay. Now this depends on what would be the best practice in creating, because what you do here is going to stay with you for a long time while you go into SAP. Now, every time, what we generally recommend most people who have worked, senior people in SAP, we will tell all our freshers, create a new transport request every time you do a customizing. Because each customizing you do will go into certain tables. So let me just save this and see, and I'll go into the transport request. I'm saving this. As you can see, this 901596 is my transport request. So the data was saved. Now what I'm going to do is SE09 is a transaction that takes me to the transport request.
Or we can check whether it is created or not.
No, if that comes up, it has been created. You will not always have access to this. It depends. When you have access, you can see the screen. When at project level, normally we won't give someone just coming in access to the screen. So this is SE. Basically, this is where all the transport requests are. You have customizing, you have workbench transport requests, you have modifiable, you have released. All right. So I'm just going. This is ZaranTech user. That is me. So I'm going to display everything that is this user has done, which is modifiable. Okay, as you can see, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this top one, that is considered the parent, and this is the child. Now, below it comes, what is the activity done? So as you look, this particular configuration has updated a table that is T004. So every time we customize something, a certain table is updated. So we say if you're going to be updating different table, then use a new or a fresh or new transport request. That is one rationale which we use when we are looking at transport requests. So advisable, every time you can, for now, since you all are just practicing on the system, and this is you all will be redoing everything you'll do now once again in with a better understanding. Just create one transport request now for your purpose. Later, when I ask you all to redo everything, then we will create it properly as what we will do in a project. All right. Now, since I'm on this screen, I'll give you all a little. Normally, in a project, you will just give this transport request number, and you will send it to the basis person and ask him to transport. But in certain projects, they will ask you to release the transport request and then inform the basis person. The basis person is the person who's handling the system. All right. So you do a configuration, you test the configuration, it is right. You come to this particular screen, and okay. Do you see this little truck over here?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is the release button. So every time you create a transport request, it will come almost the same as this. All right. So this is the parent and this is the child. So when they are asked to release it, so the basis person can take it from development to quality, you will come and click over here first, and then you will click on release. Nothing much will happen over here. It will just come like this. And this note will come. Next, you go to the parent. And then you release the parent. Now just see the difference between releasing the child and releasing the parent. When you release the child, you didn't see, not much happened on the screen, except that normal hourglass kind of thing going down. When you release the parent, it will start to compile. See, it has compiled everything and sent it. Now I'm going back. And if I just choose modifiable and I say display, nothing is going to come because it has been released. If I click on released, that transport request will come up. Got that?
Sam, sorry for the interruption. I do have a question here. So what is the major difference between child and the parent here?
The child and the parent. Parent, it's basically, you could say the topic of discussion, and the child is the discussion. So all little things come into that. You could be updating multiple tables over here, or you could have, say, 3-4 kind of different customization. It will all come under a child.
Got it. Thank you.
So now you create your chart account. Next, you assign your chart account to your company code. So you have created a company code, you have created a chart account. So suppose you have created a chart account good food. Oh, let's get out of this. You created this Capgemini Tech India. You can come here, the company code, and say you can pick up chart account over here and save it. You have assigned your chart account to your company code. Now, next is your, like I said, your general ledger accounts can be broken up either into profit loss and balance sheet. In that case, you will just have 2 account groups, but you can have multiple account groups. Now, SAP has set some standard account groups in the system. So you can have fixed assets, A&L, cash, ERG, PL accounts, liquid funds accounts, general ledger accounts, material management accounts. You can have all these account groups. What would it do every time, say you're creating a bank account and you have created an account group, liquid funds account, cash. The number range is from this number range to this number range. You can define a number range here. So every time you create say a bank account, HSBC Bank, master data, the account group you will specify will be cash. And the number range you have to pick up according to what you have defined in this screen. So think about it from your knowledge of accounting, what kind of accounts groups you would like. And before we finish this session, you all can share it with me. Okay? Clear, guys? Ladies?
Yes.
Okay. Just give it some thought, and because whatever we do here, we will have to keep utilizing it for a while. So just think about it. Now I'm going into cash and I'm going to edit field status. Now we had discussed before, the account group will decide, one of the things the account group will decide is the number ranges which will be used and the field status. Now the field status is broken up under account control, management, account management, document entry, financial data, interest calculation, joint venture, and multi-currency accounting. So under account control, when we are creating a GL account, these are the fields that will be updated. So over here we can say the currency, I'm creating a GL account for cash. So I'm creating let's take a repairs and expenses account. So when I create it, will it be in with the currency? Should I make a currency required entry that every time you create a GL, you have to specify that this will be done in the company code currency or this can be done in foreign currency? So since this is an account group for cash or bank, I'm going to say that every time you enter something in the bank, you need to specify whether it is in the GL account should be maintained in that currency. You have to put in what currency you will be maintaining this bank account in. I can make it a required entry. On the other hand, if it is an expense account, I can say it doesn't matter. End of the day, I just want to see what the total is in my company code currency. So I can make this an optional entry. What would be the reconciliation type? What is the exchange rate difference? These are all optional entries that you can fill in when you're creating it, or you don't fill in. Is there an account number? Is there an inflation key? I don't need an inflation key, so I'll say suppress it. It will be suppressed, and no one will have to fill it in. That is what you have under account control. Then you have account management. Whether you'll manage it on line item basis, whether open item management, whether you need a sort key, whether you need an authorization group, who's going to administrate this account, that you can, over here, everything is a optional entry. But you can decide, I want this at line item basis, I want this at open item management. Now at document entry, reconciliation account ready for input, you don't need that on a daily basis. You can say suppress this field. The steel creators group, you say that is a mandatory entry. Post automatically only, you will say optional. And supplement automatic posting, you can make that an optional. That is standard. These fields are standard set up by SAP. You can change as you want. So if you have if you're also using cash management and you're using commitments and cash flow, you would make planning level commitment item a required entry. So when you create a GL, you have to assign it to that particular level of planning. You need to what commitment item is. Is it relevant to cash flow or not? You can make that also as a required entry. What does this mean? It means that every time anyone creates a bank account under this account group cash, they will have to fill in all this information. If they do not fill in this information, they will not be allowed to save. Interest calculation, whether we keep it as optional, it does not matter. Joint venture counting, if you have joint venture counting, this is a multi-currency accounting. Whether you're going to allow it or not, it's decided here. Over here, it is suppressed. Now that is now let's have a look at a setup of a PL account. Now this is a general profit and loss account. So when they go under account control, at the bank statement, they said reconciliation account wasn't suppressed. Over here, currency is required. A tax category is required entry. You can make a tax category required here because expenses you might have. What is a reconciliation account? This is a general GL account. It's not a reconciliation account, so you suppress it. Exchange rate difference, you can suppress. Inflation key tolerance groups, you can suppress. That is generally how it, and under account management, let's look. Line item is optional. Open item management is suppressed because you do want these GLs to be a general ledger account to be for general expenses to be open item managed. A field status group will always be a required entry because that is what determines how you're going to fill in those fields. So when you come here, your job will be to think about what would think of your chart of account. What would be the account groups you would be creating GL accounts under? So whether it will be cash and bank. Let me see if I have something I can show you. I'm sharing with you all on screen a sample of a project I worked on. Can you see the Excel sheet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is a sample of a chart of account. I have modified it a little bit. Okay. So you all can create your something like this. I had used in that project, it was a 6-numbered letter we had 6 digits for the GL accounts, the chart accounts. So 1, anything starting with 111 or rather 11 was to do with liquidity. So my petty cash account, my house bank account, my bank accounts were all starting with 11. So you can see here, 111, 000 was petty cash, and the long text, short text was here. Is it a balance sheet account? Yes. The account group for this was balance sheet. Now my bank account started with 113. You will see bank account here, checks issued in, checks issued out. This is, we use it like this. 10, it would be the main account. 11 are the sub accounts for that bank. 11, 12, 13. So checks issued out, checks issued in, received in, wires in, wires out, would be the main account 10, and all the sub accounts under the bank will be 11, 12, 13, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. Then my trade receivables were at 121. That's a reconciliation account because this would be attached to the subledger. Down payments. Then I had my inventory accounts, raw material accounts, then depreciation. So first fixed asset accounts, then accumulated depreciation, which is also a balance sheet account. So these are all my balance sheet accounts. Basically, these are the asset side of my balance sheet. All this will come. Then I have my expenses. Electricity, depreciation, expense accounts would all be under P&L. In this particular project, we just used two account groups. We used balance sheet and profit and loss. The client didn't want more account groups. Let me see if I have a more complicated one to share with you all. Have you all got an idea of what we will be doing in the account group level and what your chart account will look like? So, to create accounts, so just let me get back to the presentation. So we have seen you can create a chart account level, company code level, or you can create centrally. So let's have a look at that on screen also. Over here, I'm going to my SAP Easy Access menu. Financial accounting. Accounting, I'm going to financial accounting, general ledger, master records, GL accounts. So here's the option. We have individual processing, collective processing, display, change. Under you have centrally FS00, chart account, company code. So let's have a look at chart account first. So when I say chart account level, these are the GLs, these are the account groups. This is the screen that comes up. You have description. So GL account number, chart account, what is the GL account group? It's a P&L account or a balance sheet account, depending. Short text, long text, keywords translation, you have to ask and information. These are the 3 tab pages you get. And this has to be filled in at chart account level. It is not so much. Now let's go at the company code level. At the company code level, you have control data, create bank information, and a GL account number. So you just have these 3 tab pages. Coming to centrally. When you have both the chart account level, which are the first tab, the type description, chart account level, control data, bank. Account group, sample accounts. When you do it centrally, that means you have to set up all the information at one time. So we've seen the creation of account groups, posting transaction. So when we are creating a general ledger, check account groups to see the account number allotted. So the path is SPRO, financial accounting, general ledger, master data preparation, define account groups. We have seen individual processing centrally and chart account and company code. So this slides tell you how it is to be done. How to create a GL master, how to create account, how to view an account created. So select a drop-down menu beside the GL account. It will give you a match code, give the company code, and it will show you a list of accounts created under PSL. Posting of transactions. So I will, actually, I don't want to go into this until I'll have time to create the first part. Document date, posting date. A document date and posting date will be the same in case of purchase example. Document date will be the party's bill date. Posting date, these dates come directly from the server. So when you're looking at posting a document in SAP, if I go into, let me go into it fast and just show you. Financial accounting document entry, enter a GL account. This is the document date. The posting date, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically, when you're posting a document, you'll have document date, posting date. The posting date will be the server date. It will be defaulted by the system into any transaction you use. Whether the amount is in currency or INR, it will be reflected over here. And the document. So if you got a payment in US dollars, you can put the document date here, and you can say this transaction is going to be done in US dollars. This is the header. This part is the header. Over here is the line item. So here you will say debit repairs, credit bank. These are your line items. And this would be the header items. All right. So this is what your document entry screen looks like. The document date, posting date, what type, document type is, what is your company code, the currency rate. All this has to be filled in, and then you'll come over here. So posting of transactions. That's the difference between document date. They have a posting transaction, a document number will be generated. You can have a reference. You have a reference field where you can put in what information you want. That will tell you what this document is about. Now, posting keys. I've showed you all the field status groups. We've gone through the account groups. I showed you the document date and posting date, how it is in the system. This a little bit of theory you have to know before you get into the system. Now, posting keys are basically keys that the debits and the credits. So 40 and 60, 70. These are posting keys which are defined by SAP. You can create your own. It will tell you whether you should debit or whether it is a credit. Because SAP, when you're entering something, you won't say debit or credit. You will have to give a posting key, and the posting key will decide how.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP Corporate Training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
These are posting keys. Now, SAP has these posting keys defined. So if it is the normal posting keys which we use for debits and credit will be debit entry 40, 50 is the credit entry. If the debit entry is for an asset, your key will be 70. If it is a credit for an asset, it will be 75. These are posting keys. So if you choose 40, the system knows that this is going to be a debit entry. So that is what a posting key does.
So this is actually by default, right? Or can we make the change?
No, it is recommended that you do, even when you're working on a project, when a client says, can I create a key, dissuade them as much as possible, because you should use the standard key.
Right, but
unless there are certain, like if you have factoring, if you're using, say, something like factoring, you might want to create a separate key for anything to do with factoring. But generally speaking, SAP has already created so many keys that takes care of so many requirements. You don't really need to create a new key. You can just use the SAP standard keys.
Yeah, right.
But just remember, when you create something, it has to be linked up. If you create something new that is not in SAP, means you have to train all your staff. All this takes money. It involves finance. You don't really want to do that. So as far as possible, use the SAP standard. So posting key types, you've seen 40. So they are just basically over here, they're telling you how to post a document. Now, to note, in any document in SAP, normally you can post 999 lines. You can't go past it. All right? That is a little thing to remember about. Now, in SAP, you can either create a document, you can display a document. If you go to T code FP-02, if you have created a document, you can display it also. So this is basically notes for your how to display. So once you'll create everything, you all can go in here and see how it is done. Since you all have not created your anything in SAP, you can just go into SAP and use something standard. So use company code 1000 and pass some entries just to see how the system works. Now, what are sample documents? Sample documents are documents, say, I'm going to be using this document this is part of my job. I have to do this posting 10, 20 times a week. I can set up a sample document. For that, I use transaction code F01, and it will be salaries, wages, rents, to outstanding expenses. So once I've set up the sample, every month I can go into it, call this sample document and modify it and post it. It will make my work. I won't have to every time go in and say debit salaries, debit wages, debit rent, credit outstanding expenses. I won't have to do that. I can just go in, fetch the sample document and just update the figures I want and post it. It will save time. You can use this, normally you use this when you have line items or for 10, 15, 20 and takes much time. So the advantage of a sample document, it saves time. When we create a sample document template, we will not forget any of the provisions. So SAP has an option of holding a document. So suppose you're entering a document and you find you don't have all the information you want, or you're interrupted and you have been called away for a meeting. So you can save that as a whole meeting. You can just save it as a whole document and come back later and complete it. Now, when you're holding a document, the system is not going to ask you to tally the debit and the credit. It will allow you to save the document at whatever state you have it at. If you try and post a document, a normal document, the system will stop you if the debits are not equal to the credits. But over here, when you're holding or parking a document, the system will not stop you. It will just keep it in abeyance until you're ready to complete the document. So parking documents you can use to enter and store a document that is incomplete. One way we use this is we use it for people if accounts clerk, we say he can only post invoices up to say 50,000. If there is an invoice over 50,000, he will have to park it. So he will enter it, he will park the document, then go to his boss and say, I have done this document, can you check it? So the boss will check the document, the accounts manager will check the document, and he will post the document. We use it also like that. So there are many ways of using a park document. Can anyone give me an example of accrual and deferrals in accounting?
So I'm sorry to interrupt. Just a slide ago, you told me that we have a feature called as parking document, right? So
Yes.
do we have also the ability to fix the amount, like threshold for that?
Threshold as in what?
For the amount. So above 50,000, you told that we can park the document and we can ask for the boss to approve it.
No, I'm saying this is one way of using the park document.
Okay.
I'm a manager. I'm supposed to do this job because the document is a heavy document. But I don't have time, so I ask my junior to enter the document for me. But he does not have the authority to post it under his login. So I can have him enter it and park it in the system. And then I can go in and I can review the park document and post it. That is one way of using park document. Another way of using a park document is I'm entering it, I don't have all the information I need. So I just park the document until I get the information I need.
Okay.
Another way is I'm entering it and I'm not sure what the tax, how much percentage tax I should charge. So I can just park the document, go get the details, come back, and I can post the document then. These are various ways of using the parked option in SAP.
Okay.
Okay, so can someone tell me what an accrual or a deferral document is in finance, in accounting? You're all working?
Could be sales accrual and payment deferrals.
Yes. Give me an example, please.
For example, sales from this month, some of them are accrued and can be reversed the next month.
Okay. So this is basically to get your monthly P&Ls out, right? So anything like if you have paid prepaid rents, so you paid a particular rent for the entire year, say for 12,000. So per month you will need to book just 1,000. Deferrals are something you have not paid but you should have paid. You will want that to reflect in your profit and loss for the month. So you will have to make an entry for that. So SAP gives you an option of doing it. You can enter through code FBS1, enter accrual or deferral document, or FP-81, where you can reverse an accrual or deferral document. Actually, all this we should be doing after you'll have had time to set up your system so you all can run these transactions. I will go over this with you all once more. So we have an account assignment model. We have exchange rates which we have to maintain, which is maintained under the table TCUR. The exchange rate types, exchange rate type M is provided by SAP, which is applicable to fetch an exchange rate from any foreign currency transaction. As per client requirements, you can create new exchange rate types. It is not advisable to delete the standard exchange rate types. So for the exchange rate, we go to the SAP SPRO general settings, currencies, which we saw before, and check on exchange rate types or T code OB07. All this information is given in your document. So you all should actually go and review it once. So exchange rate types in the system are reference currency, buying and selling rate, inverter exchange rate types used for special translation model, fixed exchange rate type.